Broadcasting from Slough.
Ooh, yeah.
Streaming around the world.
This is Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Oh, yeah. Playing the music you want to hear.
The podcast.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Hello, episode 104 of the podcast is a week late. Apologies for last week. We had all sorts of technical difficulties at Atom Radio HQ last week, but we are back now with the best bits of this week's drive time. And if there were any from last week, well, I'm afraid that if you didn't hear them live, you've missed them. Sorry. On the way this week, though, to make up for it in the best bits of this week's drive time, panic buying again. A non-sporting contest, an incredible display of Snapchat stupidity, fashion and beauty often go together, and funny enough, they are together in this podcast as well. And surprisingly, even though it's only September, we talk about Christmas. Now, not technically about Christmas, but about Christmas being too early. All that and more on the way in this week's episode 104 of the Best Bits of Drive Time podcast from Atom Radio. Settle back and enjoy.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
It is Monday's drive time. Are you one of these people that went out over the weekend and bulk bought bog roll? That was difficult to say, by the way. Bulk bought bog roll. It rolled off quicker than I thought it would have done, and easier as well. But did you, though? Like, we had this, didn't we, all through February and all through March and April, like bog roll was such a scarce commodity. Are you someone that's bought bog roll for a viral illness that doesn't cause any poo problems?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Did you see in the news last week, a German football team lost the game 37-0. They would have been fined had they not played the game. They didn't want to get involved in any close contact, so they did the old social distancing thing and lost the game 39-0 because they wouldn't go anywhere near the officials, the other players, or the ball.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Some songs just don't suit being remixed, do they? That one has taken to, all right, Kygo and Tina Turner. What's love got to do with it, to be fair? I don't know that Kygo have ever made a bad song, have they? What's the worst song? Like, you know, we've all got them, haven't we, in our record collection. What is the worst song that you've ever bought? And if you listen to it now, you think, why did I buy that?
Yeah!
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
I want to draw your attention to the stupidity of some social media users. A woman is lucky to be alive after falling from a speeding car while filming herself for Snapchat. A video showed the unnamed passenger hanging out the window moments before she fell into a live lane of traffic on the M25 at Junction 6 in Surrey. This happened around 1:30 on Saturday morning. She posted a clip of the stunt with the caption, "I need to stop doing this 110 miles an hour. I'm going to end up dead." She was treated at the scene by paramedics for minor injuries. No arrests were made. What? Not even for the speeding?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
Important life question for you right now. Okay. Genuine important life question. Would you be more likely to be helpful, friendly, or courteous to someone of the opposite sex if they were fit? Now, I am shallow enough and brave enough, in fact, to be able to admit that I am shallow enough to be able to say, yes, I genuinely would. Would you be more friendly, more courteous to someone of the opposite sex if they were fit? Perfect tea time conversation.
Yeah!
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Wednesday's drive time on atomradio.co.uk, on TuneIn, on iTunes Radio, and on your smart speaker. Would you grass on your neighbour if they broke the new rules? Would you? Because, I mean, that's what we're being encouraged to do now. Tell the police if your neighbours are breaking the new rules. Snitches get stitches, though, don't they? Would you grass on them or not?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
An article I spotted yesterday, this is Atom Radio, by the way, Yesterday evening, I saw an article about the Duchess of Cambridge, Kate, saying that she was dressed down wearing Marks & Spencer's trainers. That is, dressing down, mind you. Now, my question would be, at what age do you become old enough to wear clothes from Marks & Spencer's? Because you're either, let's be honest about this, you're either a toff or you're old if you wear clothes from Marks & Spencer's, because they're very expensive and they're generally not very fashionable. Sorry, by the way, if you do work at Marks & Spencer's, I do apologise. But something happens, doesn't it? There's a transition where you go from being young enough to not wear Marks & Spencer clothes to old enough to wear them. How does that happen? But then again, how do you become old enough to wear corduroy jeans if you're a guy? I don't know how this happens. All of a sudden you just wake up one day and you go, do you know what? I'm giving up on fashion. I'm going to shop at Marks & Spencer's and buy cords. How does it happen?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
But then that made me think about attractiveness and that, because let's be honest, we're all a combination, aren't we, facially, of nose, mouth, eyes, ears. Or that's the combination. That's all there is. Those are the parts. In some people's cases, they look like an absolute picture of paradise. In other people's cases, they look like an oil slick. And do you know what? I'm going to put myself down towards the oil slick end, so I'm not like judging here in any way whatsoever. But isn't it amazing how a combination of just eyes, nose, mouth and ears can make the difference between you looking really, really good and really, really not so good?
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
Have you got an iPhone running iOS 14? One man, 31-year-old Thomas Reisenegger, has redesigned all of the icons on his phone. You know how like Apple will employ, they've got like, you know, designers who design everything, the fonts, the logos and that. This man has redesigned every icon on his home screen to make it look like it was done in Microsoft Paint. It really does look like something. If you think back to computers long ago, long before you ever had Photoshop and stuff like that, you had the like, Microsoft Paint on your computer, and you basically got like a paintbrush and some colours, and that was it. That's what this guy's phone looks like. To me, I don't like it, but each to their own, Thomas.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk.
Terrible news. Kebab shop owners say that the 10 p.m. curfew could finish us off. I love a good kebab. I do. I'd be well upset if my favourite kebab shop, the Lebanese Grill on the Farnham Road, if that closed down, I would be so upset. We need to get rid of this 10 p.m. curfew if that's the case for sure.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
And then in other coronavirus news, Britain will host the world's first COVID-19 vaccine challenge trial. I don't know, this is a game show I'd want to go on. Hundreds of volunteers will be deliberately infected with coronavirus to speed up the tests of the experimental jabs. Is that something you fancy? Would you do it? It's not for me, if I'm honest. I mean, I know people will have to do it in order for there to be a vaccine, but it's not for me. I mean, it's not quite supermarket sweep, is it? Or play your cards right. Yeah, look what you could have won.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio.
I told you about this problem in Wales, didn't I? Where the internet went off every single morning at 7 a.m. The internet went off in the village. BT Openreach sent engineers. They replaced cables. They replaced junction boxes and all sorts. Couldn't find out what it was. And then eventually it turned out by sending further experts there and doing testing, there was an electrostatic wave which was causing interference and breaking up the broadband signal. They found out that this came from a television in the village. Now, this television was bought second-hand. It was an older television. And every morning when the couple got up and turned it on, internet signal scrambled. Nobody could get internet. So, in Aberroshan, in Powers, the couple, Alan and Elaine, live and they own the TV. They were taken yesterday on Good Morning Britain. And the lady is Elaine. She is crocheting her way through the whole interview. Like, there they are, live on TV. Piers Morgan is interviewing them on GMB. And Elaine is just crocheting and chuckling her way through the interview. She's taken a whole village offline for 18 months every day. And she's just chuckling and doing her crocheting. Thug life. She doesn't care.
Mark Denholm.
AtomRadio.co.uk
9 to 4. It is drive time for Friday on Atom Radio. Ladies, I am talking to you now. Fashion. I've seen a few adverts pop up on the internet for sorting out your winter wardrobe. Now, I know a lot of people do that. Men do it as well, but it's mostly ladies. Sorting out your winter wardrobe, all right? Now, are you going to do that this year? Because obviously, social activity is still a little curtailed. Work from home is the order of the day, if possible. So what is the point then? What's the point of getting your winter coats, your winter boots, your Ugg boots and that? What is the point of getting all those for winter if you're going to be in the house most of winter? And we don't know as yet, do we, whether there's going to be this second lockdown or not. So what is the point? Same with the guys. What's the point in getting your big winter coats, your jumpers and all that? What is the point? All these adverts that are desperately seeking to sell you your winter wardrobe, you know, your ultimate winter coat, your ultimate winter hat, scarf, whatever. What's the point if we're going to be at home all winter long? We don't know that for definite yet, unless you are one of these students in Dundee. Hello to you if you are listening in Dundee, especially if you are in self-isolation because of your own stupidity at your freshers party. But we won't get into that.
Mark Denholm on Atom Radio. Atom Radio.
AtomRadio.co.uk. Tune in iTunes Radio and smart speaker. Always to listen. Cheers for sticking us on. You got Mark Denholm with you until 7 o'clock. I did ask before 5 Christmas movies in September. There is, I don't know this is confirmed, but I saw it on Facebook yesterday. Somebody was watching a TV station about Christmas movies on the 24th, which is 3 months to Christmas Eve. And I said, I think it's too early. Well, we had a little vote by email, and the results are closer than I thought. 57% say too early, 43% say go for it. That's closer than I thought it would be, but I am definitely in the 57%. It's far, far too early. Next, you're going to be eating Christmas cake and carving turkey tomorrow just to pass the time.
AtomRadio.co.uk
All right, so I know that the vote has now closed, but come on, 26th of September it is, as this podcast drops on however you're listening, iTunes, Google, Spotify, Deezer, however you're listening. 26th of September this comes out, and I appreciate you may not be listening to it on that day. But this post I saw on Facebook about watching Christmas movies on the 24th of September, like, here was me celebrating, because the one thing to come out of this radio takeover is the fact that we will lose a lot of these pop-up Christmas stations that spring up like at the start of November. But now, somebody is saying they are watching a channel of Christmas movies with 3 months to go until Christmas Eve. That's outrageous. What are you doing? You're ruining Christmas. You'll have nothing to look forward to. Anyway, that's episode 104 of the podcast, the best bits of drive time from this week. We will have episode 105 next week. All you have to do is subscribe and you'll be there. Check out the show live Monday to Friday, 3 till 7 on Atom Radio.
Atom Radio. Playing the music you want to hear.
Check out the show back on Monday on atomradio.co.uk, and don't forget you can subscribe on iTunes, on Spotify and on Google as well. Keep yourself well.
AtomRadio.co.uk